Welcome, lovers of the weird and strange. This is Lance, your host of Legends of the Hidden Horde, where we explore the cryptids that stalk the dark corners of our globe. A huge thank you to everyone who's listening. Your ears make these strange journeys possible. If you're enjoying the show, please hit that subscribe button, leave a quick review, and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or X. Every subscription, every star rating, and every follow helps us reach more curious minds and keep the stories coming. Your support truly makes a difference. Now let's get on with the next story. Grab some supplies and follow me into the darkness. We're heading to the Philippine Islands in episode 13, the Tikbalang. In the velvet black heart of the Sierra Madre, where the buh-LEE-tee trees claw at the moon like skeletal fingers and the air hangs heavy with the scent of wet earth and decay, the forest does not forget. It watches, it waits, and sometimes it rides. Alan had come seeking answers, not monsters. A disgraced anthropologist from Manila, he dismissed the old stories as colonial superstition, tales spun by friars to demonize the animist spirits of the Tagalog people. The Tikbalang, he told his colleagues, was nothing more than a metaphor for the disorientation of the wild, a half-horse, half-man cryptid born from pre-colonial fear of the untamed mountains, later twisted by Spanish wreckers into phantoms and shapeshifters. He carried a notebook, a flashlight, and the arrogant certainty of the modern world. But the forest had other plans. It began at dusk, on a narrow trail slick with monsoon mud. Alan's compass spun wildly, as if the needle itself had lost its faith. Paths he had marked with notches in the bark looped back on themselves. The same twisted buh-LEE-tee roots appeared again and again, like a mocking sentinel. Whispers rode the wind, hooves on leaves, a low equine snort that smelled faintly of burning hair and cigar smoke. He laughed it off at first. Just wind, he muttered. But the laughter died when he glimpsed it. A towering silhouette against the fog. 7 feet of bony humanoid frame with knees that rose grotesquely above its head when it crouched. The head was pure nightmare. Elongated equine skull, glowing ember eyes, mane of sharp spines glinting like obsidian blades. It stood motionless, watching him with the patient hunger of something ancient that had learned to wear the night as a cloak. Legends say the Tikbalang was once no horse at all, but the Spanish brought their cavalry and their crosses. It was a bibit, or Tikbalang, a restless tree spirit haunting the buh-LEE-tee groves, a phantom of unreasoning dread that could appear as an old man or a giant to test intruders. Colonial historians like Juan Francisco de San Antonio recast it as a malevolent mountain entity, shape-shifting into horses or handsome strangers to lure the unwary. Some spoke of darker origins, the Tikbalang as the earthly vessel of an aborted fetus flung from limbo, a Catholic-tinged horror grafted onto indigenous roots. Others traced its equine fury back 4,000 years to Hindu-Malayan traders, and the wisdom-bringing Hayagriva, Vishnu's horse-headed avatar twisted here into a trickster that guarded the thresholds between worlds. Alan knew these fragments. He had read them in dusty books, but now they breathed. He pressed on, heart hammering, only to stumble into a story the folklore never fully explained. A pale skeletal figure detached from the undergrowth, balete, the white-skinned variant, whispered of by the Dumagat and Aita peoples. Skinnier than the standard Tikbalang, eerier, its horse head almost translucent under the moonlight. It moved with a silent, gliding menace that made Alan's skin crawl. It did not charge or roar, it simply stared, and the air grew colder, heavier, as if the forest itself were exhaling sorrow. Alan felt his vision blur, path dissolved into illusions. This was no mere disorientation. The balete was the quiet horror, the one that induced a deep bone melancholy, drawing wanderers into catatonic stillness until vines claimed their bones. He ran. Deeper in, the night fractured further, a sudden blast of heat and the stench of scorched flesh announced Binangonan, the fiery one, its mane and spine blazing like a living torch from head to tail. This variant known to the Aita and Dumagat as bringer of danger, sickness, and punitive death, rearing up with a scream that split the canopy. Flames licked along its elongated limbs as it hurled boulders the size of men, uprooting trees in fury. Alan glimpsed its eyes, not mere embers, but windows into something vengeful, a guardian turned executioner for those who desecrated the groves. He barely escaped his charge, singed and grasping, only for Bintuhagen, the flying Tikbalang, to find him in a moonlit clearing. It descended on leathery wings that beat like thunder. In rare accounts, this one would carry humans anywhere, to elemental kingdoms or parallel realms. But its grip was iron, and its bargain never kind. It hovered above Alan, offering a mocking choice: ride and be delivered to safety or damnation it did not specify, or remain lost forever. He refused, scrambling away as its shadow swallowed the stars. Last came Anglo, the foulest of the Tikbalang variants. The air thickened with a rancid odor, rotting vegetation mixed with something acrid and personal like unwashed animal hide. It moved in bursts of wind-like speed, its presence triggering an unbearable itch that spread across Alan's skin like fire ants. This one did not trick with illusions. It tormented the body, scratching and clawing at the edges of sanity until the victims begged for the relief of madness. Folklore claimed Anglo punished the disrespectful, the noisy intruders who disturbed the forest's sacred hush. Alan clawed at his own flesh, drawing blood as the creature's laughter echoed like distant thunder. In the final clearing beneath the oldest buh-LEE-tee of all, the true Tikbalang waited. No variant this time, the primal one, mane bristling with 3 thick golden spines that gleamed like forbidden promises. Legends spoke of taming. Leap onto its back, bind it with a cord woven from midnight vines and whispered prayers. Endure the aerial frenzy until exhaustion forced submission. The victor gained a lifelong servant. Alan, desperate and fevered, saw his chance at redemption, proof that myth could be conquered. He sprang. The world inverted. The Tikbalang bucked through storm clouds and star fields, through memories of felled forests and weeping ancestors. Alan clung, fingers tearing at the mane until one golden hair came free in his bloodied fist. The creature crashed to earth, kneeling at last, eyes dimmed in defeat. But victory tasted of ash. The Tikbalang spoke, not in words but in visions. Visions of a world where the last rainforests burn and the spirits starved of their groves seeped into the cities as new cryptids. Shadows in alleyways, glitches in satellite feeds, whispers in the static of dying phones. It showed Alan his own arrogance, reflected back. Humanity's endless quest to tame the wild, only to become the monsters in its place. He awoke at dawn on the trail's edge, hair grayed overnight, the golden spine clutched in his palm like a curse. The forest was silent, but he knew it wasn't empty. The Tikbalang had not been tamed. It had simply chosen a new form of mischief, one that would ride the currents of warning. The Tikbalang is neither demon nor guardian, but a glimpse into liminal existence, the threshold where human hubris meets the indifferent sublime of nature. It teaches us that disorientation is not punishment, but pedagogy, a forced reckoning with our own lost paths, our disrespect for the unseen covenants that bind life to land. To attempt its taming is to invite the ultimate irony. Domination breeds enslavement of the self. In a world racing towards calamity, where rainforests shrink and ancient spirits find new habitats in urban legends and digital hauntings, the Tikbalang warns of a future where the wild no longer waits to be found. It comes for us, mane aflame, reminding a disconnected species that some forces cannot be ridden, only respected. Ignore it, and we risk becoming the very phantoms we once feared, restless, rootless, forever circling the ruins of our own making. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed the story. If you did, please subscribe on your favorite podcast app. Give me a follow on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, or X. And until next time, keep your eyes open. You never know what might be lurking in the shadows.